Korean makeup has really been impressing me in 2023. So today I wanted to share all of the favorites, or rather a selection of the most favorites, because I loved so many of the makeup products I've tried last year. All the K-beauty makeup favorites of 2023. In case you don't know me yet, hi, my name is Ulrike. I'm a K-beauty and skincare and overall beauty content creator and have been since 2016. Such a long time. I'm really happy to have you with me on this skincare and today makeup journey. So let's get into my Korean makeup favorites of 2023. And we're going to start out with a cushion foundation. Now, I have tried quite a few cushion foundations throughout the year. I think actually I got a bit overboard with my purchases. One of my New Year's resolutions was to really stop just buying everything just because it's trending on Olive Young. There have been a couple of duds when it comes to cushion foundations. I haven't even spoken about those. If you watch my Olive Young unboxings, you might have seen a couple of them. I'm always on the lookout for this perfect cushion foundation that is good coverage, but also provides a really glowy base. I think the trend is either hyper glowy, very low coverage foundations that also tend to be very ghostly white, or you have the very matte foundations that honestly are mostly for the young people. I think once you hit 40, even when you're more on the oilier side, which I am, matte foundations just don't work anymore because you start having wrinkles and you do have dry patches. My dry patch area is here for sure. I have quite strong eye wrinkles. I know you can't see them because of the lighting, but they are there. I can show you. And also on the forehead, they aren't super prominent, but makeup can enhance them if it's a very matte foundation. I kind of just always try to find a middle ground between super dewy and way too light for me, and also not quite enough coverage, especially for my redness, but also not too matte and too cakey. And this is quite hard to find, surprise, surprise. Most of the foundations, cushion foundations I've tried last year didn't quite hit the spot. The only one that I still love and use quite a lot is the CLIO glowy foundation, but not the high glowy one. I did not actually like that one very much. It's guys, that one is very white. If you're anything other than ghostly pale, that's not gonna make you happy. I still like the Amuse foundation. I still love the age 20s foundations, but those I tried the previous year, 2022. So 2023 tried a lot. Not that many super impressed me, but one did. This was a long preliminary talk to introduce you to this beauty. And the foundation has been used quite a lot, so it doesn't look very nice. So I don't think I can show you a close-up, but it is a sponge, not a mesh cushion foundation. And it is from a brand that I don't know how to pronounce. I think it's Fwee? F-W-E-E. Now, Fwee is, again, I'm probably saying it wrongly, so I apologize for my mispronunciation, but I'm going to just stick to Fwee. So Fwee is actually the makeup brand of the same company that also produces, not manufactures, that also is behind Numbers In, which I didn't know before I started researching this brand. And that explains probably why I love it so much. I've also tried their blushes, which are also fantastic. And this foundation really impressed me. This is the Fwee Cushion Glass. They also have a matte version. I don't know what that one's like, because again, I don't really look for matte cushion foundations. This one, the glass skin one, has been trending for ages and ages, and I never got it because it was never on sale. So I waited for a good sale and I finally got one and I instantly got this. And I fell in love straight away. The reason why I like this foundation so much is because it does manage to hit all of the points that I need and want in a cushion foundation, which, as I said, is that it does need to be glowy, but it shouldn't be so hyper dewy that it basically doesn't really cover anything anymore and just makes you look oily and just greasy. I think the really super, super, super glossy foundations, I think those only work on very young skin as well, where you just don't need that much coverage. I do need a little bit of coverage, but it's also not too high coverage, so it does not look cakey at all. In fact, and this is why it's so amazing and why I like gasped. The first time I used it, I was like, oh, okay, I like this. It applies like a dream. It just kind of doesn't have that annoying cakiness that some cushion foundations can have when you apply them. And it doesn't take forever to apply it. I find with some of the cushion foundations I've tried this year, you just kind of, it takes forever to tap them on because they don't spread well. You can't really build them up well because they just start getting kind of streaky, but they don't really combine well with the skin. This one, no streakiness whatsoever. You really rarely find that with cushion foundations, I find. And just so seamlessly blends into skin that it's much easier and quicker to apply and even reapply. One of the few cushions that I find you can actually reapply properly without looking like an absolute streaky mess. It gives, I would say, medium coverage, and it does give a really lovely glow. Not hyper glossy, still not the glossiest foundations I've tried. If you want hyper glossy, go for the Amuse Glow cushion, the pink one. This is probably comparable to the regular CLIO Glow foundation, the mesh cushion that they've done. I do prefer it to the CLIO because the glossiness is a little bit more flattering, I find. It really does create that sort of glass skin dewiness. And again, just the application to me was one of the most comfortable ones I've ever experienced. It's beautiful. I'll see if I can show you a close-up. I think I swatched it in one of my unboxings, so maybe I can cut that in because by now it looks just not very presentable. They ran more on the yellowish side, but it still worked for me even though I'm more neutral base. So also not as super ghostly pale as some of the other ones. Of course, again, only for people who are light skin, I'm afraid. They have like 3 shades. It's a regular problem, of course, with foundations from Korea. I have a 21, I think, in this. It's number 2 is the shade that I have, and it works perfectly for me. It's not too light, which is a rare find these days. Oh, it's wonderful. It is a little bit pricier sometimes. It's harder to find a sale, but I do think it's very worth the money. Now, this next makeup product needs not many words, I think, because I've already raved about it twice, and you should know it by now. I thoroughly introduced it in my video on how to deal with, I believe, red skin or redness and inflammation. Not many people watch that, so maybe give it a watch or a rewatch to see swatches and very detailed explanations why I love this. It is also a hyper bestseller in Korea, so Koreans do use this product if that's important to you. It's not a Western hype. I don't think many people in the West even know about it. I don't actually know. I've never seen it on TikTok, and it's this coverage concealer. It's kind of hard to capture in the bright lights. I have shown close-ups of this before in other videos, so either I cut them in or you can just watch that video. The reason why I love this so much, it has 3 different colors. It has a salmon base for under-eye concealing, and then a regular beige concealer, and a green for color correcting redness. And this is why I love it so much. I struggle heavily with redness, especially during spring, because of my very severe hay fever, and I also have dust mite allergy. So I'm just kind of red and inflamed throughout the entire year, to be honest. And I've never been able to find a good green base color corrector, because I find most of the ones you get from Western brands, they have more of a mint green color, which I find to be too sort of grayish when you apply it on top of redness. Yes, it cancels out the redness, but it just turns your skin into this really sickly gray that it just does not work for me at all. And I've tried so many. I've spent so much money on drugstore and even high-end green color correctors. None of them worked. This one works perfectly because it is more of an almost olive base tone that just applies amazingly and really just cancels out the redness without overcorrecting and making your skin look just sick, basically. And it's also very affordable. So it only usually costs around, I think, $7 or $8 when you get it on sale. Absolutely fantastic product. They now have like a jumbo size as well. I don't know, in case you need that. And they also have now more tones. So they have a lighter version as well if you want that one. This, to me, the original one, is the perfect one for me and my skin concerns. I've tried the salmon base as well. That does work quite well, but I can't tolerate it that well on my eyes, so I won't be using it. For the green alone, it's worth it for me, 100%. I use it so much, and it really was one of my favorites throughout the last year. And on to a highlighter that actually launched pretty late in the previous year, so technically I haven't owned it for that long, but I still wanted to put it into my favorites for 2023 because a lot of you lately have been commenting on my skin and my makeup in videos, which is very flattering because, again, I really don't see myself as being very good at makeup. So when you guys ask me, oh, what did you do with your eyes? Or what are you wearing as your base? I'm always quite flattered because I'm not used to getting compliments for my makeup. I believe one of the reasons that you guys think that my skin is looking so glowy is because of this highlighter. So I did want to add it to finally show one of the potential reasons why my skin has been looking better. Another one is a skincare item that I'm pretty sure has contributed to my skin looking really good, but that'll have to wait. I hopefully will do a video on that soon, but for now, let's talk about this beauty. And again, the camera will probably not be able to capture the beauty, but I do have an unboxing where I show some swatches. And this is the Glint highlighter in a new shade called Diamond Veil. This is just such a lovely, flattering, glittery, but not silly glittery shade. It's a very grown-up, glittery, truly diamond-like shimmer that it adds to the cheek. And it kind of really does look like crushed diamonds when you apply it. It's so hard to capture on camera, so I'm not sure I will be able to put in a swatch, but I'll try my best. But you kind of just have to trust me and also look at my cheeks because I am wearing it today. So maybe the camera will show you through that and can convince you that this really is a sort of it is more cool based and more silvery, but I do think it can work for a variety of skin tones because what it does is just really add that little extra sparkle. It is not shimmery, it is more glittery, but it is a very sophisticated type of glittery highlighter that also, as with all Glint highlighters, I have another one. I have the famous more champagne colored one, which is called Dewy Moon, which I also love. I love to layer these two, in fact. That is the ultimate combo. And all of them really apply so seamlessly and so smoothly, and they are incredibly flattering without being overdone. Glint is another one of those K-beauty brands that not enough international influencers talk about. very popular and just a wonderful, beautiful brand. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, and especially my unboxings, you will probably not be surprised by this next pick from another K-beauty brand that is also highly underrated in the West, which is strange to me because it is a brand that is very unique and kind of offers more of a spectrum of colors and shades that you usually don't find that easily from Korean brands, while still providing that overall Korean aesthetic. So I think it is a brand that marries the best that K makeup has to offer with more almost Western tastes. And it does it so beautifully. And of course, I'm talking about Hince, of course. And the product that I wanted to add to these favorites, I had a few Hince products that I liked this year, but the ones that really blew my mind were these. Looking very simple. Actually, this one, again, very stained because I've been using it a lot. And it's the Hince eyeshadow, the single eyeshadows. And I have two here, which are so gorgeous. And I don't know if my camera will capture it, but I do have close-ups somewhere from unboxing, so make sure to cut them in. It is kind of difficult to find good matte eyeshadows from Korean brands. I'm not gonna lie. It's not always the easiest thing in the world because they do tend to be very low in pigmentation. These Hince eyeshadows are much better pigmentation. They're still not super hyperpigmented, which personally I prefer for the style of makeup that I do, because I find that if they're too deeply, especially with matte shadows, if they're too deeply pigmented on my mature eyelids, they just don't blend out that well anymore and they get very patchy. These blend out like a dream. They're very buttery and they look so natural and flattering, especially the matte shades. Beautiful as a base to then apply more shimmery shades or glitters. These work fantastic if you combine them with Korean glitters. I have the shade, where's the name? Oh, here. I have this shade Allure in Motion, which is this really beautiful, very simple taupe that just works for so many occasions and really works very well with a lot of other eyeshadows that I have. And then I also got recently, At the Moment, which is more of a brown, sort of slightly, I want to say beige desert brown. That probably describes it best. And again, a fantastic base shade that I constantly use either to blend out other eyeshadow or just as a general base color. The quality is really impressive. There's very little fallout as well compared again to other matte shades I've tried from Korean brands. So whenever these are on special, they are a really good deal. They last forever. And again, they're so versatile. Hince also desperately needs more love from Western influencers. It's such a good brand. So sophisticated, so grown up, and so unique. It just offers things that other Korean brands really don't offer. And on to a Korean blush that I really loved this year. Korean blushes have really saved me because Western blushes, everything that I've tried from high-end to drugstore, at least here in Germany, German drugstore, has just been super disappointing for me. Again, I tend to be very red in the face, so I try to avoid anything that overemphasizes my redness. Saying this today wearing a red shirt, but so far so good with the redness, I think. We'll see how it looks in editing. But it's very hard to find a blush that isn't a super warm toned and or very red based. They all just go into the berry, warm toned or super reddish direction that just does not look good on me at all. And so Korean blushes have really been such a savior because they have so much choice when it comes to cool toned pinks or even their berry tones, I find are not as redness enhancing. They also have these beautiful sort of toasty warm colors that just warm up your face without, again, just making it look red. And that I've really come to absolutely love. One of the blushes that I've tried this year is that type of warmth giving but not redness enhancing flush type color that I've used so much this year. I'm using it today in my video, and I always really love how it comes out, even on videos with strong lighting. It always, I find, looks very flattering on me. And it's this one from CLIO that, again, looks very used. I've used it a lot. And this is the relatively new CLIO Air Blur Whip Blush in the shade Gingerbread Cookie. So if you're looking for a more warmer shade, but just like me, don't want it to be red, this one is really just like a gingerbread style warm flush on the skin that just looks super comfortable, especially now in winter and in autumn. It just looks kind of cozy, and it works very well with other brown toned makeup, with brick colors on your face or on your eyes or on your lips. This pairs very beautifully with that. I love it. I have another air blush shade that is more like a cool toned berry that I also like, but this one is my absolute favorite. It's so gorgeous. These are also usually very affordable. They don't have the best, I find, texture when you try to apply them with your brush, but once you swipe them on your face, they do blend out very well. I also wanted to add one lip tint at least. I could have probably added 5 because I tried a lot of lip tints last year and honestly liked most of them. Korean lip tints just, to me, really are the best in the world. Nothing quite like the feel and texture and staying power of Korean tints. But one in particular really impressed me, and impressed me in a way that I didn't expect. And I like them so, so much that I got 3 colors. So that should tell you how I adore them. And again, I did not expect it. And it's the WAKEMAKE Dewy Gel Glow Tint, which I have in 3 colors. I'm wearing one on the lips today, and the one that I'm wearing is called Mature Autumn. And then I also have Coolish Cherry and Fig Filling. Fig Filling is my favorite. It's the most stunning sort of mauvey fig color that I am obsessed with. Obsessed. This was my #1 autumn color. I love it so much. I feel it really fits me well, and it just is such a unique and interesting color that I haven't seen quite like this before. The reason why I was surprised how much I like these is because honestly, I don't know how to feel about the dewy lip trend that is just becoming more and more of a staple trend since last year. This year, this will continue, and honestly, it just gets kind of glossier and glossier to the point where it's almost ridiculous. They just kind of pile on the hyper glossy textures, and you get all these super, super balmy Vaseline style textures. And as a teenager of the 90s, I never know how to feel about that, because I'm just getting flashbacks to sort of cheap drugstore lip gloss that we would also pile on, and your hair would get caught in it. And honestly, looking back on some of my teenage pictures, it just was all a little bit too much gloss, I think. So I'm a little bit traumatized and wasn't sure how to feel about them. But I also felt, okay, you gotta get into the glossy lip tints, because again, it is the #1 lip trend. I'm going to do a trend video soon, and I'm going to talk about how glossy lips are just everywhere and how, again, it just gets glossier and glossier, if that even is still possible. First reason I really like these, I also kind of hinted at, the shade range is so unique and interesting. Korean lip tints, in all truth, always have kind of the same colors. I don't know, I think Koreans like same, I think. I don't think that's a mean or wrong thing to say for me as a non-Korean. I really notice that they do go for the same colors again and again, and that there's a certain specific type of color range that I think is just deemed acceptable within the homogeneity of the culture. I have heard this as well from Koreans talking about this, how if you were suddenly to wear very tropical sort of strong colored makeup, you would stick out in a way that you really don't want to, especially in a professional setting. However, for us non-Koreans, that of course sometimes feels a bit frustrating, because we kind of go, oh, okay, so here's another mauve shade, here's another cool tone berry shade. It does sometimes feel like we've all seen the shades before. Honestly, you could say the same probably about Western lipsticks, because you always have the same type of red, the same type of brown. But I just feel in Korean makeup, it's even more noticeable. This to me is an exception, because all three shades that I have to me are shades that I don't easily find from other brands. Especially the Fig one is just very unique to me, but also this one I find is such an interesting mix of sort of brownish brick coral that I just love so much. And then the cherry red, what's it called? Cool cherry, I think. Coolish cherry really is a very cool toned cherry color that actually would also go very well with my shirt today. And all three I just constantly grab simply for the uniqueness of the shade. I'm also still eyeing a couple of other ones. I would totally happily buy some of their other shades as well. Each and every one of them is so gorgeous. And then the other thing is that WAKEMAKE really makes, in my opinion, the best lip products. They just really work so well in terms of staying power. Now, these ones don't stay on quite as well as the matte shades, because, you know, dewy lips just kind of do wash off very easily when you eat and drink, etc. But they do stay on very well in terms of the tint. The tint stays on forever. You kind of have to remove it with waterproof makeup remover to even get rid of it. And then I also like that they aren't too sticky. They're a tiny bit sticky, as all dewy lip shades, lip tints really are. These apply really nicely and more smoothly than some other products that I've tried, especially in the dewy category. They also don't kind of they don't crawl over the lips, which some of them also tend to do, especially the balms. It's really hard to kind of get the lip shape correct. Again, I'm not good with makeup. You're sensing a theme here. Everything needs to be very easy to use for me. And they really just feel very comfortable on the lips. WAKEMAKE really impressed me this year. Pretty much everything I've tried from them I've really loved, but in particular these ones, surprise hit. I kind of want more colors from them. And those were my Korean makeup favorites of 2023. I could have probably added at least 10 more products, because there were a lot of really great Korean makeup products I've tried this year, but I just didn't want to overdo it. And speaking of overdoing it, I think this will be the last favorites video, 2023 favorites video, because otherwise I think it's just going on for too long, and maybe we just want to finish off with the previous year for now. I have to say the new year so far has not been treating me very well. Fun fact, today I dropped my phone and it cracked, and now the screen is black. So my phone is not working anymore and I don't quite know what to do. So really good times. I don't know how to afford a new one at the moment. So yeah, 2024 already starting off well. How is your new year going? Let me know in the comments if it's as devastatingly catastrophic as mine at the moment is shaping up to be. Because I'm laughing, but I'm actually truly desperate right now. I'm using a really old phone at the moment, but that one's also cracked, so not ideal, but we'll see what we'll do. It's not like as a content creator I really need a phone or anything. No, it's all fine. But anyway, I still hope you enjoyed the video. If you're new here, it would be wonderful if you could subscribe to my channel. That is such a big help, as is engaging with the content, of course, and just supporting me, hopefully, maybe also on my other social media channels, etc., etc. And it would be great if you stuck around for next week's video. We'll see what I'll do. I wanted to do an unboxing, but guess what? All the unboxing videos are on my phone that I now can't access. I'll see if I can get the data somewhere, somehow. I'll find a way, I hope. But we'll see. We'll see what I'll do for next week. I really hope that your 2024 so far has been going so much better than mine. And I see you again next week. Until then, please take care. Take care of your phones. I'm telling you, it was a nanosecond of it slipping out of my hand and bam, now it's broken. It goes quickly. So take care of your belongings. Be careful. I see you next week. Bye.